everybody, how's it going? This is Pete Leong here of Photoshisa Photography. I'm just back from a fantastic trip to Australia where I got to photograph the wedding of my niece Clara and Don. And back here in Okinawa now, Lightpix Labs have just sent me out their new FlashQ radio triggers. Now these are said to be the smallest radio triggers in the world. And they're currently up on Indiegogo where they're raising money to get their company started, I guess get these flash triggers up and running. So today I just wanted to give you a quick little unboxing and review some of my thoughts of what I think about these tiny little units. So let's take a quick look inside and see how it comes. Okay, they come in this sweet little box here, and as normal just a couple of little instruction booklets. Okay, inside with some English written in from a Chinese person, I'm assuming. These are from Hong Kong, so it says here, make funds with FlashQ, and a little description of the buttons and some more in-depth instructions with what batteries to use with them and whatnot. They do run on your regular CR2032 battery, one in both the receiver and the transmitter, and here's what they look like inside. Okay, I've chosen to go with the white version, but they do come, I think, in black and maybe a couple of other colors as well. And as you can see, they're super duper tiny. Let's take it out of the box now and have a closer look. Okay, so there we are. That's your little trigger there, or transceiver, and this is the little receiver which will go onto your flash unit. So in the past I'm used to working with bigger flash triggers which have more options in them for triggering your flashes and all that kind of thing. But this is aimed at people with perhaps smaller cameras like mirrorless cameras, or someone who's just getting into off-camera flash photography and want to keep it simple. Or maybe you want to travel with these. These are fantastic. They'll fit in your bag, or they fit in your pocket. Look how tiny they are even together. So they're super duper simple. They just have two little buttons on each unit. Right here on the trigger here, you have a power button. You hold it down for 3 seconds to turn it on, and once it's on, a little tri-LED light will light up there letting you know that it's on. And if you press the other button, which is a test button, it'll emit a little colored light there so you know that there's power to it. And on the bottom here it just has a single pin which will just send a manual transmission to your flash. So there's no TTL with these, it's all manual. And a little compartment in the top there, you'd open it up to put change the batteries. Okay, there it is in there. The build quality feels great. It's very tough plastic, but there's nothing loose or rattling around inside. It's always a good thing. The mounts feel nice and solid as well. Onto the receiver. The receiver comes in its own little caddy here, which allows you to mount it to a regular tripod mount, or put it into something like an umbrella mount, like that from Manfrotto, with a cold shoe adapter at the top. Then this could screw straight into here, and then you would mount your flash to the top of here, like I'll show you in just a moment. That caddy is also removable, with a little clip at the side here. It just slides off like that. It's all included, of course, and that allows you access to the battery compartment in here. So I've got my Cactus RF60 flash right here and my little receiver. So all I'm going to do is just slide it straight onto the hot shoe mount like so, and tighten it down so it won't fall off. As you can see, it adds hardly any size to your flash, and you can use it with pretty much any flash out there. The receiver, the trigger can also be used on pretty much any camera. I've used it both on my Canon cameras and also my new Fuji X-T1, as I'll show you in a minute. So there it is there. I'm going to turn it on now by holding down the power button here on the right. Wait for 3 seconds, and now it's lighting up, telling me we're ready to go. I'll turn on my flash, make sure it's in manual power, press the test button, and she's firing fine from there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the trigger onto my little Fujifilm and give it some test shots. Okay, so now I've popped the trigger onto my X-T1 here, and as you can see it's super duper small in the hot shoe there. Of course you could go with a black, which would match with the body even better, but for this review I just asked them to send me a set of white ones for something different, because all my other ones are black, so you want to stand out, right? Okay, so if we take a picture here, we can check, make sure it's firing no problem, and as you can probably see, it is absolutely firing every time, no sweat. I get a little indicator light here on the back too that lets me know that it's triggered the flash, which is also very nice. And that's about all there is to it, really. They're just super simple, small, lightweight, and cheap way to get into off-camera flash if you want to give it a try. Probably wouldn't recommend them to working professionals, because you generally want to have a few more options, like being able to control the flash power from the back of the trigger. But for someone who just wants to muck around and dabble in off-camera flash, this is a very perfectly good entry method for that. They do operate on the 2.4 gigahertz wavelength, so if you're familiar with radio triggers and things like that, you'll know that they are much better at firing a flash over a longer range, much better than infrared or optical method. They'll go quite a fair distance, although I haven't tested them yet for distance compared to my other, say, Yongnuos or Pocket Wizards or Cactus triggers or something like that. But in my experience so far, I've used them on a couple of shoots now, they've performed flawlessly and fired every single time. They do also come with a little port on the side which can be used to connect to bigger flash units to fire those. And if you want to pick some of these up, I believe they're going right now for the set for $39, or you can get a trigger and 2 receivers for around about the $50 mark, somewhere around there I believe. I think they've just started shipping them out now. I know they were looking for a $25,000 target on Indiegogo to get the project started, but I think last time I checked they were already pretty close to about 80,000, so these are definitely going to go ahead and get made. And I'm sure they'll be very popular for people who are just looking to get into it, or maybe traveling with lighter cameras and want to stay light as possible. They're fantastic. The only negative point I could find on them is that I prefer to have a metal mount at the bottom of this shoe here, just because when you put it onto a umbrella adapter like this, and you're tightening down these metal clamps here, in the past with cheaper plastics I've found that it can chip quite easily if there's a lot of force on there, and it could potentially snap off and you could drop a flash to the ground. But I haven't had that problem with this one, so it may be just fine, but I would have liked to have seen a metal mount on the bottom instead. It does, however, like I said, have the tripod screw mount at the bottom, so you can just attach it straight to your tripod if you want to, or just take that bottom little caddy off and use it handheld like that. And there it is, good to go. So there we are, there's just a quick little look at the FlashQ triggers from Lightpix Labs. If you'd like to pick some up, go ahead and check out their website linked here below or down in the description, and check them out. I highly recommend them. So this is Pete Leong signing off. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much.